Welcome back. In this lecture we'll just be going through how to set up Blender for this course. So in this video we're going to show you how to get back to the default configuration if necessary, getting Blender ready for this course itself, and an introduction to the user preferences. Okay, so this is how you will see Blender typically. However, I'm going to zoom out a little so you can see what it may look like on your computer. Now don't worry, I don't expect you to read anything on the screen at the moment, but I did want to highlight the fact that I'm going to be recording this course in 720p. Which on a computer screen these days is a very low resolution. So unless you're doing it using Blender on a netbook or something with a very small screen, most of the time you'll be able to see much more on your screen than I will be able to do on mine. So let's flick back to 720p so you can see the difference. As you can see, it's much easier for you to read. However, these sidebars, for instance, the two frames on the right hand side, if we shift that across, now you can read more on it, but I will have to do probably more scrolling than you will on your computer. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's just so you know what's going on and why mine looks a lot bigger and I don't seem to have much space. It's so you guys can actually see what's going on. Right, let's jump straight in to how to get back to the default. So if for some reason you've been playing with Blender for a while and you happen to have screwed up your settings, you can go to File and load the factory settings if you want to. Now, I would suggest doing this if you played with it and didn't know what you were doing. However, if you've already configured Blender, perhaps you're a more advanced user and you're joining us, then please feel free to not load your factory settings. So I've been playing with Blender for a bit, so I just want to set it back to the factory settings. So when you click load factory settings, you get another prompt, do you want to do that? So we click on load factory settings and there we go. Blender's back to default, but it's not applied across everything yet. So we need to go to File and down to User Preferences. Remember to click Save User Settings, otherwise it only applies to the Blender file you're working with. We won't do anything else in the User Preferences at the moment, and bear in mind it's a very powerful place to be. So you can very quickly screw things up, but remember, if necessary, you can always go to File and load factory settings if you get yourself in a mess. But I wouldn't suggest playing with that unless you know what you're doing. See you in the next lecture.